of Aspen GMF Bucharest Forum taking place during the NATO Ministers of Foreign Affairs meeting in Bucharest. My name is Claudia Peterson. I'm Enablement Director at UiPath and Aspen Fellow. And I'm honored to co-host this forum that has become one of the most significant strategic public debates in the region. Today's agenda is built around the forum's title, A World in Flux, Towards a New European Architecture. And it includes interventions on security, economical and political reconstruction, reflections on lessons learned, and debates on how we move forward. I wish to thank you for your presence and invite Mr. Florin Pogonaru, Vice President of Aspen Institute Romania, for the introductory remarks.
Good morning. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 11th edition of the Aspen GMF Bucharest Forum, organized by the Aspen Institute Romania in partnership with the German Marshall Fund of the United States on the sidelines of the NATO Foreign Ministers meeting. This is, by the way, the first NATO Foreign Ministers meeting in Romania. I humbly thank the Alliance for its support. As a local entrepreneur and business owner, I am aware that economic opportunities cannot blossom in the absence of security. We are confident that the meeting of the NATO Foreign Ministers meeting will be a success, strengthening NATO's position in the region. The Aspen GMF Bucharest Forum has launched in 2012. Since then, it has become a successful international platform for innovative discussions on geopolitics, energy, economic and security policies. While its 10th anniversary was celebrated with an impressive edition last year, the Aspen GMF Bucharest Forum continues to grow in terms of elevated conversation with highly topical content. This year, we benefit from the participation of several key North Atlantic Council participation. We are first and foremost truly honored to welcome Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO, who will deliver his opening speech followed by a Q&A session. Furthermore, we would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Deputy Secretary General of NATO, Mr. Mircea Joană, the founding president of Aspen Institute Romania. His vision and relentless ambition have contributed significantly to the development of our institute into the leading organization promoting values-based leadership in Romania and the region, as well as neutral, balanced platform for discussing and acting on critical issues confronting our society. The Bucharest Forum promotes pragmatic dialogue between government, private sector, academia and civil society. Hundreds of high-level decision makers, international experts and journalists, high-ranking private sector representatives, as well as members of the civil society and academia have contributed with their expertise to the success of the Bucharest Forum throughout the years. We are grateful and honored that our forum has developed into one of the most prestigious conferences in Central and Eastern Europe and the wider Black Sea region. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 edition of the Bucharest Forum takes place in the context of the war in Ukraine, which has impacted the entire world. From energy prices to supply chains and to consumer prices, the economic effects of the war are deeply felt within our society. For the next 2 days, we will also debate the role of new technologies and the ability to adopt innovation, factors which will decide the winners of geopolitical competitions. At the same time, global security aspects, as well as the future reconstruction of Ukraine, will of course be the subject of thorough analysis throughout this year's conversation. Moreover, Recent developments have made it clear that the world is in flux and a comprehensive new Europe architecture is needed. The Forum will address what this will entail in terms of political and democratic aspects. We will dissect economic models in a range of industries, especially in terms of bringing societal resilience against a wide range of threats. This forum brings together key personalities, but also young leaders from the networks of the European Aspen Institutes to share their vision concerning this future development in our societies. We are looking forward to interesting debates on this important topic, as several of their views will be presented during the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, concluding my introductory remarks, I would like to thank all our partners who offer their valuable support in the organization of this event. Aspen GMF Bucharest Forum 2022 is organized with the support of NATO, co-founded by European Union and USAID, international partners, Government of Romania, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Romania, Ministry of National Defense of Romania, AmCham, Embassy of the Czech Republic in Romania, international partners, Munich Security Conferences, the Aspen Institute US, Aspen Security Forum, Aspen Institute France, Aspen Institute Kiev, Aspen Institute Italia, Aspen Institute Germany, and Globsec. Strategic partners, Innovix BCR. Knowledge partner, Kearney and Valorem Business Advisors. Main partners, Vodafone, Microsoft, UiPath, MasterCard, ING, E.ON, OMV Petrom, Enel, Modex, and EMAG. Partners, Google, Alliance Healthcare and Horvat. Supporters, Codnar, MOL, Publicis, AUAR. Media partners, TVR, Antena 3, CNN, Agerpres, Radio România Actualități, Emerging Europe, Calea Europeană.ro, DC Media Group, Panorama.ro, Kiss FM, and Piața Financiară. Thank you all, and hereby invite you to full days of thought-provoking debates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pogonaru. For the second introductory remarks, we welcome Ms. Laura Thornton, Director and Senior Fellow at the Alliance for Securing Democracy at the General Marshall Fund of the United States.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure to be here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, for the 11th edition of the Bucharest Forum. It will be my first Bucharest Forum, so I'm particularly excited. And I really want to echo the thanks given, particularly to the Aspen Institute of Romania, which has just been such a steadfast partner and friend to GMF. Also, NATO, USAID, the European Commission for their kind support, as well as key partners, the Aspen Worldwide Network, Government of Romania, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Defense. I also want to give a shout out to the Black Sea Trust of GMF, the staff here today who helped put this together, and use this opportunity to introduce our newest member of GMF, the new director of the Black Sea Trust, Clara Volunteru, who should be here today, and she will stand up and wave so you can put a face with the name. We're delighted to have her, and her first day was actually yesterday, so perfect timing. This event is really, as said by the previous speaker, an inflection point for European security. Particularly given Russia's brutal and unjustified war in Ukraine, our partnerships are being challenged, and our ability to build solidarity and cooperation, including a Marshall Plan for Ukraine, will really be the test of our collective future. Now, I spent the last quarter of a century, because I'm old, living all over Asia and the former Soviet Union working in democracy. I worked for NDI and International IDEA, and so I'm a real democracy hack and approach these issues with that lens. But I think we all here can see quite clearly today, as at other critical junctures in our history, that democracy isn't a nice to have, it's not solely a values proposition, it's the root of our future security, both transatlantic and frankly global. Putin's war to me is Exhibit A. It is a war that, in part, at its heart, is about democracy. For what does Putin fear more than a free, democratic, independent society, particularly at his borders? The beautiful thing about democracy is that it's contagious and thus poses an existential threat to his autocratic rule. What is exposing us to an existential threat is rising authoritarianism. We see this undermining our collective security, undermining our economic and energy independence, our digital future and personal freedom, our international governance architecture. We continue to be subject to economic blackmail. We continue to purchase technology from autocratic actors that undermine and subvert our civil society. We continue to let autocratic actors take over our international governance bodies. Furthermore, they are forming alliances. Autocrats are supporting each other, sharing tactics to destabilize our democracies, whether it's cyber, tech, malign finance, or information operations. And alarmingly, we see that the call is coming from inside the House. And unfortunately, we are often electing autocrats through free and fair democratic elections. On both sides of the Atlantic, we see this waning public belief in democracy, its ability to deliver. And that creates a perfect vacuum for strong men and strong women. And therefore, foreign actors don't really need to do much if we're eroding ourselves from within. In the US, I'm afraid to say, a liberal, isolationist America First movement is back in vogue in a way we haven't seen since the 30s and early 40s. As I researched at GMF for the midterm elections, we saw candidates on the ballot for the US Congress who were parroting Kremlin talking points about NATO, parroting Kremlin talking points about Ukraine, pledging not to support Ukraine, even saying the worst and most horrific disinformation narratives. Ukraine is a Nazi state. This was coming out of candidates for office, some of whom won. So our challenge, and what I'm really looking forward to hearing from folks here, all these esteemed guests, is how can we build and renew our commitment to democracy and make the case to a skeptical and delusioned public about why it matters? How do we cooperate on deterring rising autocratic threats and malign actors? How do we bolster civil society, building collective resilience? And how do we do it together? Ukraine is central to this fight. Our defense of Ukraine, as our Ukrainian friends often tell us, is a defense of us all. And this is the litmus test of our commitment to freedom. We either take it or we send the signal everywhere to autocrats that the world is up for grabs. Over the next couple days, I hope we can make this need to defend democracy and this choice serve as the North Star for our discussions. And in the spirit of the Thanksgiving holidays, which I just left in the United States, I'd like to give thanks to all of you for your commitment and your camaraderie in forging ahead on this really important mission. And with that, I really want to thank you all and look forward to these next 2 days of discussion. Thank you.
We also wish to thank NATO for the Alliance's special support for the event and announce the participation of Mr. Jens Stoltenberg, Secretary General of NATO, who will share his opening speech, followed by a Q&A session with Ms. Cristina Cilacu, journalist for Digi24. I hereby invite Ms. Cilacu on stage for the official introduction. Before we start with the session, we will have a 3 minutes break, waiting for Mr. Stoltenberg to arrive. Thank you.
Sorry. Da, nu mai le-am zis că nu avem, știi? Dar astea proaste, nu era de la noi.